I finished high school in Japan, Kansei Gakuin High School in 1952. And that August, I came back. So I was 19, and my brother Charles married with children, and he was working in Vancouver. So when I came back, I came on a freighter from Kobe, which arrived in Prince Rupert. But all along I had communicated with my brother Charlie that I was coming back, and he had just moved into a house on Oak Street, 57th and Oak, and there was a room for me. So I stayed at my brother's place. I had no immediate plans, but for one, I had to get into an environment or work or whatever to be exposed to the Canadian life, or to pick up English or learn English, if I may. So I started looking for work, and my first job, of course, was working in a company called Chisholm Industries, and believe it or not, they were making televisions in Vancouver, the entire television set. And of course, those days, this is in 1952, so televisions were pretty well all what they call console. You know, they were in a cabinet. There weren't many televisions that you just, placed on a stand. They were mostly console. So anyhow, at this Chisholm Industries, which is at 29th and Main Street in Vancouver, I got a job as a cabinet maker or a cabinet assembler. In those days, there was no such thing as cable television. Everything was by antenna. In Vancouver, I believe there was only one station in Canada, all of Canada, which was the CBC TV. It was just the one station. There was no other station. However, in Vancouver, especially if you were living on the south side of Vancouver, you were able to get the television reception from the stations in Seattle. So, but then you had to put up a television antenna. And if you're living anywhere south of 25th Avenue, you were living on the south slope. And all those people, if they put up an antenna, they were able to get from Seattle the NBC, the CBS, and I believe TBS. They were able to get 3 stations, plus the Vancouver or the Canadian station, so you were able to get 4 stations. But most other people would only just get the CBC. And anyhow, because I was only 19 and I had not spent any time in Canada other than from the time I was born for 7 years, and most of which one doesn't know because they were so small. So I needed to feel Canada or America. So I think I got a Greyhound bus ticket, and also I traveled by rail. I recall going to Seattle and then by rail traveling to Chicago and then taking the bus down to the south and through the south to Shreveport, Louisiana, that area, New Orleans, and then went through Florida up into New York, Washington, and then I came into Canada, into Montreal. And in Montreal, I had friends and relatives. I also had some friends, or one friend at least, in New York. So I spent a few days in New York. And I was always interested in, I was interested in many things, I suppose. So, for instance, in New York, I wanted to see a ball game, a major league ball game. I wanted to go hear or see the Metropolitan Opera, and also there was a new star. They called her a new star. Her name was Audrey Hepburn. She was a stage star, not a movie star. And I wanted to see her play on Broadway, so I went to. So I guess I exposed myself, or I really enjoyed seeing or being part of that. And in Montreal, I met some family friends, and I think I went to see, well, I know I went to see, I didn't see very much, but I went to see a hockey game, the Montreal Canadiens, and it was standing room only, but I saw, and I wasn't very tall, so I couldn't see very much, but I had to see a hockey game. Then I went to Toronto from there, and I had a brother, George, as well as Richard, another brother. Two of them were in Toronto, so I spent time there. So that was in the spring or early summer of 1954.